Hi guys, it's Kobe here, and in today's video we are going to do this. We are going to use the Cinema 4D default cloth system to disintegrate this character, into pieces and eventually disappear. That's basically what you are going to do. So I'll make it play again. So it's like a character being hit by something in the head, holds its head, and it begins to disintegrate into pieces. That's basically it. I'll let it go back again once again, and it's actually being controlled by a vertex map, simple like vertex map, and that's what's controlling the tearing. And it can be used in several cases. So on Instagram, I actually saw something on Instagram which from Zach Darren or something, like I don't know if I'm getting the name right, Zach Darren, which in Cinema 4D, if I'm going to use the Cinema 4D default plot system to do this, this will be the same sort of idea like I'll use to do this skin on peeling or on unwrapping sort of. So there are several use cases for this particular scenario. You can use it to do anything for unveiling or revealing something, textures and all that. So let's go ahead and see how we will do that. So before I actually go ahead and start disintegrating this whole character, I would like to briefly explain how the Cinema 4D cloth system works. So if you're comfortable or you already understand the Cinema 4D cloth system, you can go ahead and skip for the first about 5 minutes of this video and go straight into how I did the disintegration. But if not, like, you can actually stay and see how the Cinema 4D cloth system actually works. So I'll go ahead and create a new document, and I'll add in a plane. Change the, it doesn't matter, I just want us to see it clear. That's what I'm using. So I'll add a plane, and before to make it cloth object, you have to make it editable. So I click on this button here to make it editable. So now we have access to the point and everything. So to make it a cloth object, all I have to do is add a cloth tag. So I right click, come to simulate. You can see we have the cloth here. I choose it, and now default by right away it's a cloth object. So if I should hit play, it begins to be affected, falling, and it's being affected by gravity. Which when you select the cloth tag, you can see forces, and under it you have gravity, which is minus 9.81. So it's being affected by gravity. Basically, so now it's cloth object, but because everything is falling, because they are all falling at the same time. So what we can do is when you come to the dresser, you can actually select, let's say, this point. Let me use the live selection tool and actually select. So you can actually select this point here, and now select the cloth tag again. Come to the dresser, and as you see point, fixed point, we say set. You can see it changes color to like some pink color. Now if I hit play, all those points wouldn't be affected. So it means basically like those points are fixed. So now you can see we have a cloth. So basically that's how the cloth system works. Immediately you add a cloth tag to an editable object, it means it's cloth right away. Another thing is you can actually add cloth collider. So I can add another plane. Let me bring it down, make it a bit bigger, and now make that one to editable as well, and right click, and I'll go to the simulation tags, and I'll choose cloth collider, and when it hits play, you can see it's colliding with the floor. So cloth collider as well. So it could be, let's say, a ball or something. So I can create a ball, and this ball, bring it back, make this one a towel. So right click and add the simulation tag, cloth collider, and whilst it's moving, let me actually can use this one to hit it and stuff like that, and it's sort of colliding with it. So basically this is how the plot also works. Now for instance, let me say I want to create a flag. All right, let me delete these things. I want to create a flag. Let me quickly do that. Actually add a simple cylinder. I'm actually taking a simple cylinder, and let me say I want all the points that I've selected to be attached to this cylinder. So same way, I actually make this cylinder editable, and now I'll come to the cloth tag, and the fixed point, I'll clear it. So now it wouldn't be. So I'll select clear, and now if I hit play, everything falls again. So now it's not fixed again. But I want to those points, I want to fix it to this pole. Like, so let's assume the cylinder is our pole. I want to fix it to this. So all I'll do is simply add a cloth, something called cloth belt. So I right click, come to simulation, cloth belt, right? And it asks you, what do you want to belt this cloth on? And I'll say this cylinder. So I'll put this, drag the cylinder in here, and now it will ask you basically. So the point that I have selected is what I'm going to use. Oh, unfortunately, I've been deselected, so I'll actually select it again. All this one. So this is what all these points, I want it to be hooked to this pole or cylinder. So I'll select the cloth belt and see belt on, and now I'll say set. If I hide the cylinder, you can see the colors of the points has changed to yellow. So it's basically drawing. If I should uncheck the draw, you can see it's the default orange color. But if I bring the draw, you can see it's yellow. So it means if you see the yellow, it means it's actually attached to whatever it is that you want it to attach to. So now let me hit play. You can see same way. Those points are not falling. But this time, let me actually increase the frame rate. So this time I can actually take the pole and move the pole. So if I should move it, it's hooked on it. So now it'll be like a flag waving, basically. So this is a quick brief of how the plot object system works in Cinema 4D. So now let's go ahead and see how we will do the disintegration itself. So this is the character I used to disintegrate, and it's a character I actually got from Mixamo, Adobe Mixamo. So let me actually bring the web. So Mixamo is like an interface where you can actually bring in your character to rig it and everything, but it has already some default characters. So if you have like Adobe account or something, you can use it to log in, and like there are these few characters we can actually use. So the character I chose was this mannequin character here. So I just selected it, and it will ask something. Yeah, and that's what I use. So zombie agonizing, yeah, basically. So now if I hit play, you can see it happens here. After I downloaded it and everything came back. So basically that's the character I used. So let's get back to Cinema 4D. Now one trick when you actually bring in your character into Cinema 4D is everything will be fine, but when you select the character, you can see everything will be grayed out. Everywhere like you can actually animate will be grayed out. You can't necessarily animate like when it's the mesh itself. Anything about the mesh is always grayed out. So what you can do is actually select everything and right click, copy, and create a new document. So I'll create a new document, which I've already done here. So then now you come and paste it in the new document. So now you have, when you select the mesh, you can see now you have access to the coordinates and everything. It's now fine. So basically this is a quick tip when you actually import or download files from Mixamo. Now let's go ahead and start working on the disintegration. So here I have my character and everything is fine. It's rigged, and let me play. You can see the animation and everything, and you get here, hold its head and start moving everything, and everything, and it gets fine. So I don't necessarily need all the beginning, so I might actually come to frame 110 and let's hit play. Yeah, so right from here, and it starts holding its head and doing all those stuff. So now straight away we can simply add simulation cloth, and let's see what happens. You can see it begins to fall because of the gravity. and but whilst it's falling, the bone is actually trying to deform. This skin deformer is actually trying to deform it whilst it's falling. So it works straight away, but we are not going to do it that way. So I'll actually delete the plot tag for now. And now what I'll do is, at this frame 100, right, I'll actually come to object, or actually, okay, let me use it, object, current state to object, right? And now it will give us a mesh like the object, the state that we are in. Let me hide the animated one. And now we have this one. I can hide the bone too. We have this character which is standing still. It's not moving, it's not animated and everything. And now I right click on this one and add the plot tag to it. The reason why I'm using this one is when everything is being affected with the bones and every how do you call it, the bones animation, when the cloth is affecting it, it's still sort of try to move it and about and all that. So I actually have this character which is in the same pose as at this frame, at frame 110, right? And I add the cloth tag to it. So if I hit play, it falls, like everything is default, but I don't necessarily need the gravity, so I'll hit 0, right? It's still, now see what happens. So I'll right click and add the cloth belt. Make sure all the points of this is selected. Control A to select all the points, and now it will ask, like I earlier in the brief explanation of cloth, what object do we want to build on. Then I'll drag in the animated one. Now mind, because they are all in the same point and everything, so every point will be attached to each point of the animated one. So now if I go ahead and hit set, it will take quite few seconds, and now it will draw. So everything will turn to yellow when it's done. You see, now everything has turned to yellow, meaning it's now drawn on it. So you see the animated one is hidden, but if I should hit play, let me actually hit play. Now, let's hide the yellow stuff. So I'll select the plot belt and the draw, uncheck the draw here. You can see now it's moving. The one that was not supposed, like, was just a still, like, standing, it's now moving, meaning it's inheriting all the points of everything. So now it's a plot object, and it's inheriting its movement from this animated one. So basically we are now moving a bit further. So the next thing is how to set vertex map the way we want it to affect it. So I'll come in here. Now all the points are selected, right? So I can simply right click, actually come to selection and set vertex weight, and I'll make sure everything is 0. Doesn't even matter, everything is 0. And now we have a vertex map. So what you are going to use the vertex map to do is to influence where the plot belt. So you can, when you come to the plot, select the plot belt tag, and you come in, you can see influence. So what the influence does is, everywhere the vertex map, it's red means it's 0, and everywhere the vertex map is yellow means it's 100%. So when you select the plot tag and the influence, and you drag in the vertex map to the influence, and let's hit play, you can see it's actually nothing is happening, right? Meaning it's not affecting, like the belt is not affecting any of the points of this particular mesh. So we need it to be 100%. Now it means it will be affected by all the points. So what we'll do is select the vertex map, and now we will use fields. So I can actually simply come in here, and I'll use where is it, invert, just to show us. So you see it's yellow now, and now let's hit play. You see it's fully picking the animation. I hope like it makes sense now. So now we are gradually going to make it like red from the yellow, from where we want it to how the animation, the movement to go. So that's what we are going to do. So I'm going to actually use so let me actually forget and uncheck the invert, right? And now let me come to the plot tag clear this, so it's still, everything is fully affected, right? Not necessary. I'm not going to use the influence right now. So now I select the vertex map, and I'll actually add spherical field, right? Let me bring it up here, make it smaller, and I'll bring it somewhere here. So from the head, because it's holding the head, so I'm making it look like something sort of has hit the egg, the head, making it smaller. So yeah, so this is where it starts from. All right, now we hit play, and you can see it moves here basically. So we want it to grow from either yellow to red or red to yellow. You can either later flip it. So now I'll actually come to the freeze in the vertex map, the field, I'll select freeze, and I'll come to grow. All right, and now let's see what happens. Now it begins to grow from the head and goes down basically. So now I can actually reduce the speed of the growth, like let's say the radius to 5 and maybe the speed to 50, so that it goes a bit slower. So now it grows from the head, and now we have our animation, but we want it the other way around. We want it to be yellow, and now it moves from yellow to red, right? Ideally, I don't know what's the issue, but I think if I should add invert, I'm still having issues with this. Invert and hit play, it keeps jittering like that. So ideally I should select the freeze and subframes only, and let's see how it works. It's not working. Ideally the subfields only should make it work, but my way around is I actually create another vertex map. So I'll come in here, make sure that this one is not selected, and I'll create a new, select, make sure the object is selected. Now create a new set vertex with vertex map, okay, right? And now I'll select fields, and what I'll do is I'll use this vertex map. Actually can delete the freeze in this one. I'll drag in the first vertex map we did and make it like as the field, and now I can add the invert on top of it. Now everything will be flipped, so meaning we are going to use this one instead of this one, right? Let me actually move from the point. So you see this one is yellow, like the yellow is at the top and everything is red, but if you come here it's red and at it. So if I hit play, let me actually bring it here out and see. If I hit play, it should actually work. Oh, I don't know why it's not working though, but oh yeah, I should uncheck the subfields. Yeah, everything. So now if I should come in here as well, it grows from yellow to red basically. So this is what we want. This is what we want. So now we will put that in the influencer, so the second one that we actually added the vertex on top. So I'll select the plot belt, the influence, and I'll put that one in. And now let's play. See, affect it and everything. It begins to affect the head and everything starts moving and all that. So we are getting somewhere. What we want, so we want to now affect it with some dynamics. So I'll come to simulate particles, and I'll use the gravity, but I don't want it to fall, I want it to go up. So I'll put minus, let's say 2.0 something, minus 250, and now see it's moving. I can actually add a bit more, let's say add 1 0 to it. Now yeah, you see going up and all that. So basically we are almost there. The next thing is for us to make our cloth to tear, we need to actually add the cloth cloth surface. So I'll add a cloth surface, which you can find in simulate and cloth surface. In latest version you can actually find it among the generators here, but in R20 it's in the simulate up there. So I'll make it a child of the cloth surface. And now in the cloth object, the cloth tag, we can come to the tags and use tier. Select, make sure the use tier is checked, and now let's hit play. See, it begins to disappear. Basically, that's everything that I did. I mean, I play around with things and all that. So this is it actually. So now what you can actually do is, if you want like it to move a bit differently and all that, you can add a bit of turbulence and stuff. So I can add turbulence and things if I want and all that. With the tiering, depending on how you want it, you can actually reduce the tiering, like, so meaning the threshold is 120%. So it means if the like points move above 120%, that's when it begins to tear. So you can reduce it to like 110 or however you want it, and it will tear faster, right? So you can also increase it if you don't want it to tear like that much. Like, you can actually increase it to 200, and I can see it takes time before, so it goes in a bit higher. So basically, this is how this was done using the cloth object and everything. So basically, this is how I did the whole thing. So in my case, I actually waited. So you can see it starts with nothing, and later animated the spherical field to come in, hit the head. Before it hits the head, and it begins to disintegrate. I mean, that's all about it. And in this Zagdarin's case, the one I showed on Instagram, in this case as well, if you are to do it, and I think if you are to do it in Cinema 4D with the Cinema 4D default cloth, I think it will be the same approach, using the vertex map for it to gradually animate from one point to another, and it will start like unpeeling or like peeling or unwrapping whatever it is that you want to use it for. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one.